Alrighty, so we just finished watching the fantastic X-Files movie, Fight the Future. So, Justin,
Why me?
because you're sitting right here,
Okay.
what was the plot of this movie?
Aliens, some virus, fighting the future.
You have no idea, do you?
Well, there's some sort of conspiracy going on with this alien virus thing, and some guys are trying to keep it to themselves for some reason.
Okay.
And
So-
Mueller's trying to, not Mueller, Mulder. I don't know why I said Mueller. Mulder's trying to expose them.
As Mulder is likely to do. By the way, I'm Dave.
Yeah, David's here too, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. So basically what happens is a building blows up in Dallas. Mulder and Scully end up finding out
He couldn't get his Pepsi.
he couldn't get his Pepsi and he was mad. They end up discovering about this whole, well, vast conspiracy.
Aliens.
Yes, David, there are in fact aliens. We actually see aliens in this.
They found out about this conspiracy or something because after Mulder gets drunk off his ass or talks to a guy in an alley,
He meets Martin Landau, and Martin Landau tells him that he should,
and
Keep going with
apparently
it. Do
other
his thing.
people around him know more than he does anyway.
Yeah, that's just a conceit of the series, though.
Yeah.
Mulder's always the last person to figure out everything.
Like me.
Yeah, it's actually a little too apt of a comparison.
Sad but true.
Alrighty, so what did you all think of the movie? And
As it
go ahead, Dave. Finish your thought.
as it all sits with the movie, with the episode or two that you showed me of the X-Files, it kind of sits pretty good with how the episode's sort of going, with it extending out into a full movie release and the amount of money that could be poured into something like that. It was definitely entertaining for all the stuff that it decided to do. There was the occasional moment of and cheesiness that kind of happens with movies made around that time, but on the whole, it sat fairly decent with me with all the stuff it did.
Okay, Justin.
It was entertaining for all the stuff that it did, for the most part. It kind of seemed weird that they tried to force a character to quit because of something.
Well, this is hard without getting into the past 5 seasons of the television series.
Yeah,
You know,
all of a
as it
sudden, by
kinda
the way, you have to go be a doctor now or something and get away from him as far as you can.
I think it was more so of a case of looking at those files, you just kind of seem to be bullshitting your way to giving certain particular things, and we've knocked it out of the park and stopped doing all these sort of things completely. So we kind of question why the heck you're an FBI agent. So we're kind of close to firing you now.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, like, logically, Scully should not be an FBI agent.
Yeah.
Like,
Better
it-
as a
yes,
doctor,
but-
much more skilled.
Yeah, and I mean, so she was originally sent to work with Mulder to spy on him and report back to superiors.
We've seen the episode.
Yeah, but I'm trying to explain why it doesn't make sense.
The-
So after doing that for a year or two, you think they'd be like, fuck it, just whatever. But it's a television series and it ran for 9 seasons.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't have enough story to go 9 seasons.
Meh. And despite that, Scully did have the talent of controlling a room in that emergency situation before the building exploded.
Well, yeah. So, how much do you know about the television series?
Aside from the couple of episodes that you mentioned, little bits and pieces.
Minimal.
You've seen a picture of the Fluke Man.
Yeah, because he showed it to me, because he mentioned it once, and I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Now you do.
It's like,
Yay!
okay, so it's this white thing with teeth. I don't know how to explain that.
I wouldn't expect you to. It's not something that can be easily explained.
I don't think much of anything within this show can.
No. No, it really can't.
Looked like it was covered in whipped cream.
Tee-hee. Reminded of another silly thing.
Okay. So, if you had watched this movie when it came out, would it have made you want to tune into the show the next season?
Around the... What
Like
was the time that the movie originally
97, 98, something like that?
came out?
Well,
Probably would have terrified me for my age.
Well,
if
instead.
okay.
I were an adult in that,
Yeah, if
that
you're your
setting,
current age then.
then potentially,
Potentially? Is it?
yes.
Okay. Don't worry, I'm not going to
Like-
force you to watch all of the X-Files.
I would be more surprised if you did add that onto the list of the 3,527 different things that you told me to watch.
It's like 300 episodes or something. I'm not going to make you watch it.
Dude, I have in mind of watching that thing that's near 1,000 episodes. This is not anything new for me.
It's just another thing to add on top of everything else.
Exactly.
You should never watch anything that's 1,000 episodes long. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, these are like hour-long episodes instead of half-hour-ish.
Meh.
Yeah. Anyway. David. We have our movie review system. Red light, yellow light, green light.
Yes.
What are you giving it?
As it sits on the whole, if you like the series and all that sort of stuff, green light, it's more of the series. For a first-timer or someone with vague knowledge of things, you're probably going to be a bit lost. So, probably best to place it within yellow light. But on the whole, it's good. It doesn't do anything cringeworthy for movies made around that time. It's a very decently made film, so it's good, but you'll probably get decently lost if you're trying to follow the story. So, yellow light for anybody that's just coming into the series with this movie.
Justin.
I give it a green light of things.
That's very specific. Good job. So I basically echo what David said. If you know this, if you are familiar with the series, you've probably already seen it, and you should definitely watch it. If you aren't familiar with the series,
You might be slightly a bit lost. I don't know. But, I mean, as long as you have someone there to explain a few things, maybe, it's watchable.
Even then,
Like-
you'll still be lost, but if you're there
Yeah,
for
it's
just
still-
the entertainment and the mystery
Yeah,
of
it's still
things,
entertaining.
it'll do it.
yeah. If you're not familiar with the series, and especially if you're watching it on your own, you're going to get confused
Yeah, of course.
because there is 5 seasons worth of television that you just don't have the knowledge of.
Well, that, and it's also the X-Files. It's kind of one of those things where it's kind of supposed to leave you confused unless you're sort of within the right mindset or know what the heck's going on.
Yeah, I mean, the X-Files makes sense if you watch it.
Yeah.
Like, if you actually sit down and watch the entire run.
Hmm.
The only thing to understand, really, is that there are alien stuff going on.
And there's also vampires and a whole bunch of
Other mysteries.
Yes. Okay, I have one little tidbit that I wanted to share about the movie that I think is just utterly fantastic. So, in order to combat the script being leaked, everybody who was given a copy that was printed on red paper in red ink. So if you tried to photocopy it, it would just come out like a black page.
Interesting.
And your name was put like horizontally across the page on each page, so they would know who leaked it if it like ended up online.
Interesting.
Yep.
It's nice for around that sort of particular time that they tried to do those sorts of particular things in comparison to nowadays with how easily certain things can get leaked and how everybody wants to know before something comes out.
Yep. It was also given a working title of Blackwell, but pretty quickly people online figured out that it was the X-Files movie. And then there were a bunch of like really wacky thoughts on what it could be, and it's pretty great if you can go back and find them on message boards because they're pretty entertaining
Message
to read.
boards in the early or late 90s?
Yeah, because they look amazing. First of all,
Oh my god.
they have just such great design. Anyway, I think that's going to be it. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And Justin.